You're listening to the greatest multifamily investment advice show. My name is Adam Ras, and now I'm talking everything multifamily for an in-depth conversation, and I will be diving deep into raising capital, deals, and underwriting process. Welcome back to the greatest multifamily advice show. Today we have Esther Lupin, real estate investor and realtor from New York region. Help me to welcome our exceptional guest. How are you, Esther?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Thanks a lot. Thanks for being with us today, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Sure.
Your background is super impressive, from teacher to successful uh, multifamily investor, raising capital, working in both multifamily and commercial spaces in 4 years. So before we start talking about your success, what was the beginning look like for you?
Okay. Well, beginning of my career, I'm a speech language pathologist. I graduated 2007 with my master's degree and have worked in the space for about 10 years, I'd say. And then I decided to pivot for several reasons into real estate. Started on the residential end as a broker and got involved in commercial brokerage. Did very well in a very short period of time, then got involved in raising equity when one of my clients had asked me to help them find equity.
Okay.
At the time, I knew nothing about it. But once the clients asked me, I said, I figured I'll do him a favor. I just closed the deal with him. So went out and looked for equity. Within 2 phone calls, I found equity. I found him an equity partner. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. We could do more of this. I got very involved in raising equity, connecting co-GPs and JVs to sponsors. And then I decided to take it a step forward and open a fund. So now I manage a fund. Successfully raised, done my first raise through the fund, which was pretty exciting. It's a goal that I was trying to achieve for a while. Besides for that, we're active investors purchasing office, industrial, triple net retail properties. But I help other people find capital. I do that for others, not for myself. So that's pretty much in short what's going on.
Okay, so my first question to you will be, what is the upside of your market, especially that you are in already fringe market? The pricing is going crazy on New York. So why not the rest of especially right now, the trend is going south, where the rent is affordable, even the commercial space is affordable. What is the upside of New York for you?
Oh, actually, I don't just stick to New York. I live in New York, but I work nationwide. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all over the place in the US of A, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. So my next question will be the commercial space. What was the upside or the pros of the commercial real estate versus multifamily?
By commercial, are you referring to industrial?
Industrial and office spaces and so on.
Okay.
Self-storages.
Yeah. So the reason we started investing in those assets is just because we were finding good deals in those assets, but not necessarily because we thought that they were better. Actually, office and retail right now are not the best assets to invest in. It has to be very location specific. It has to be a very, very good deal, good tenants, nice returns, long-term lease in order to go there. Multifamily is always a great place to invest because everyone always needs a place to live. So that's just the reason, we started investing in those areas, just because we had good deals coming our way that we couldn't refuse.
So right now your focus is more on acquiring or raising fund. Like what is, because you mentioned that you as a start, you were connecting the co-GPs, LPs, and GPs as a start. Right now your focus is more on raising the fund and working on a specific market, or as you mentioned, nationwide.
So we're focused on both. We're focused on acquiring, and I am focused on raise and connecting capital.
Okay.
We do both. So my husband kind of takes care of our acquisitions. I take care of everyone else's.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we work it.
Yeah.
So, what was your other question? If we're at which area?
No, my other question was, to be honest, is how many units under management now per niche? So you're working on multifamily and also commercial spaces. How many units now under management?
So what I do is I help other sponsors kind of raise money in a legal way. So I connect them to co-GPs and JVs.
Oh,
So
okay.
I that's my focus, connecting them to co-GPs and JVs. I do own some property too. But my main focus is connecting sponsors together, sort of like matchmaking them.
Oh, okay.
And finding the equity partner with the asset manager or the KP,
Mm.
just connect the two of them and work it that way.
Okay. 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 For raising capital, what was a game changer for you to actually focus on this? And what was your really learned lesson to achieve great results on raising capital? Especially that you started just, I think, 3, 4 years back. So I think it was a learning curve in the beginning. So what was the game changer for you?
Listening to a lot of podcasts, talking to a lot of attorneys, making sure I know all the laws and regulations, familiarizing myself with the market, what's going on, and then networking. Networking is the key to success over here. So it's making connections, figuring out who does what, and trying my best to stay on top of everything that's going on in the market, what people are investing in, what investors want to see,
Mm.
the trends, the locations, the different assets, just studying it all and, seeing what makes most sense and trying to do my best to help as many people as possible.
Is your career as a realtor help you on networking, like help you on expand your network on your community or?
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on to specific about your niche, what is your target market right now?
I don't really have a niche or a target market.
Really?
I wear several hats in the space, as a realtor, investor, and capital connector, fund manager,
Hmm.
and I'm nationwide. So I don't really have a specific niche. I just like networking and making connections, and I think that's my niche, networking.
Okay.
But I don't really have a specific asset or location that I'm focused on.
Now, basically, what you're saying is you're looking for the good deals in all of the different commercial spaces, whatever multifamily or whatever it is, you're looking for numbers, correct?
Well, it depends if I'm connecting the capital or if I'm acquiring it. So if I'm acquiring it, I have my criteria.
Hmm.
Right now, we're looking at office, industrial, triple net retail. We
Hmm.
are pretty opportunistic, so we'll look at some hotels if it makes sense. We're looking at land potentially to develop
Hmm.
industrial properties. But on the capital connecting end, I work on all assets in all locations.
Oh, okay.
Every situation differs,
Hmm.
obviously, depending on um, so many different criteria.
Correct. So, in this point, especially that you, on your side of acquiring your assets, how you dealing with the boots on the ground when you're investing in new market, especially as you're saying that you're working on different markets and it's based on numbers again. But again, you're gonna need boots on the ground, property management, contractors, even connection on this. So how you manage to invest on a new market, especially with your approach?
So I actually own some property that I've actually never seen, because I partnered with people that I totally trust,
Okay.
and they're boots on the ground, and I get constant
Okay.
reports of what's going on, and I trust them, and have a good feeling about it. So they're taking asset managing most of it. I do whatever I can do from my house in New York.
Okay.
But yeah, I own properties that I don't actually deal with the contractors, or actually have never, some of them have never seen. So it's connecting with people, partnering with people that you trust, and everyone does their fair share of work.
So this is basically usually is like a GP, not GP, GP co-GP, like you acting as a co-GP, and who's
Correct.
boots in the ground is a GP.
Exactly.
So
Co-GP situation.
okay,
We're
so you,
both we're both we're both co-GPs. We're there are several co-GPs on the deal,
oh, okay,
and I am just one of them, but there's the main the lead sponsor is boots on the ground, the
Oh,
asset
makes sense.
manager. Yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. My next question will be about your criteria. So when you're looking for multifamily now, what is your target cap rate and how you do? But based on what you're saying, that who do the due diligence on this deal is basically the main GP, correct?
Every deal is different. There's no, set rules or, there's no set way of doing it. It's
Okay.
every single deal has its own, people involved. Everyone has different roles. Sometimes in some deals, one person gonna have several roles versus other deals. So every single situation is different.
100%, 100%. Can we jump to your largest deal so far? If you can tell us about the breakdown, how you get the deal, what was the size of it, what was the upside about the deal, which market?
Are you asking as a buyer or as a capital connector?
Both.
Which one was my biggest deal? Honestly, just to be honest, my husband takes care of our acquisitions, and they're doing more than I even know about. So I don't even know everything that's going on that end. Every day I hear of another deal. So I don't even know, but we recently acquired a 350,000 square foot industrial property. The exact details, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of really big things and cool things happening on all ends.
Okay. Okay. So one of the questions always is to make your deal is investor friendly. So what was like your approach to make to attract passive investor to your deals? Because this is one of the things make it easier for yourself on the future. So what was your approach to make it investor friendly deal?
Just to clarify my previous comments is that my husband acquires our properties. My focus is capital connecting.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where my energy and focus is.
Okay.
But we are acquiring oftentimes I source the deals and then hand it over to the team and then sort of forget about them because I can't do everything. And I have children. I don't know if you mentioned that, but I have children too.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
You have
that's why
eight children.
I have 8 children, thank God.
Yeah, yeah. What's the age, by the way?
3.5 to 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wide range.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God. But now to this question, what's my strategy of attracting investors? So I never really have a strategy to attract investors because I believe that if it's a good deal, the investors will want it. So I never push any investor into investing in a deal. Like I won't do things to make people go into a deal or convince them that it's a good deal if it's not. But to find investors, I do a lot of research on the deals that I bring to my investors. I do a lot of research. I'm vetting the sponsors. I'm underwriting the deals, making sure the term hold is decent and making sure the returns are decent. So before I bring a deal to my investors, my limited partners, I'm going to make sure that it's a solid deal and I review it thoroughly. So it has to be a really solid opportunity to bring to my investors. And I always tell my investors that I'm showing you that I like the deal by me putting my own money in. So I always invest in every single deal. My own money goes into every single deal that I raise for from LPs. So that's my criteria is good deals, good sponsors. I start with the good sponsor first.
So you have always skin on the game, shows that you're interested, you trust the
Right.
deal. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great approach. Yeah, correct. One of the things always is marketing for your deals. So what was your criteria was accredited investors and qualified investors? Do you work with both? Do you work only with accredited investors, or you have your fund for both sides?
So I've done both. I've done a 506B and I've done a 506C from accredited and non-accredited. Each one has their pro and con. Obviously 506Cs, you're allowed to advertise it and you can, but you can only take in accredited investors versus the B, you are not allowed to advertise it and you're only allowed to take 35 sophisticated investors and accredited investors as well. So each one has their pro and con. I've done both.
So can you enlighten the listener a little bit about 506B, which is basically about friends and family, and 506C,
Yeah,
and of course we if anyone listening to this, you have to consult his security lawyers. It's just our understanding of the current um, legislation on the US market.
correct. Yeah.
So what is your when you started working with accredited investor from the beginning was, or you started with friends and family? How you started raising capital?
Started from friends and family. My first one was a B. Started that way. And then when my fund went live, I wanted it to be a C so that I could advertise that I have a fund
Hmm.
and just get the word out there. So that was the reason I went with the C for my fund.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So right now with the current inflation and the interest rate, what was the impact on your market? The actual on the inventory, and how you see the actual market now, especially that you are a realtor too, beside your investor. What was the impact on your market?
In terms of the interest rates going up?
No, on the inventory, the prices, and the
Oh,
impact on your business as a multifamily investor or
uh,
as a
so,
commercial space investor.
yeah. So overall, I think inventory was tight the last 2, 3 years for sure.
Hmm,
It's been hard to find good deals
hmm,
on all ends. They always say like cash is king. Now they're saying good deals are king. If you have a good deal, you have the upper hand.
hmm,
It wasn't easy finding good deals. That's why I was talking to a lot of brokers, making a lot of connections, getting out there. In terms of the cap rates now, the cap rates now being a little squeezed was also, tough to find solid opportunities going in. With the cap rates being squeezed down, the interest rates going up, it makes it even tougher right now to, evaluate good deals. It's just the markets. We're in a shaky place right now. Let's see what happens in the next little bit.
100%. If we're talking about your strengths, what will be your superpower
I
on the
like connect.
business?
I like connecting. I think that's my superpower. Networking. I call myself a serial networker. I like to connect people, get to know people. I think that's my strength in this business.
So, what is your, if we can say, what is your daily routine for networking? What you do every month about expanding your network?
I I network online and offline. So I go to a lot of events.
Hmm,
I connect with people on LinkedIn. I interact with people. I'm constantly meeting people. My calendars, back-to-back meetings, set up. I work very hard and do my best to connect as many people as I can. That's my goal.
yeah. On the beginning, you mentioned that you were listening to podcasts, but I would like to focus on something else, which is who was your influential mentor on your career on the last 4 years? Who made like a big um, part on your advancement in your career so far?
That's a good question. Not really anybody because I'm very self-motivated.
Mm,
I never joined any mastermind. I never,
mm,
joined any groups. I'm totally self-taught. Had no one that inspired me to get into this. It was totally my own self-doing. So really shooting to my own horn, sort of following my own lead and not
mm,
really, I don't really consult with anyone. I mean, obviously here and there, per if need be, I'll reach out to someone, ask them their opinion or hire people that I think can help me facilitate things better. But I've been totally self-motivated on my own. An inspiration in the field has been Yona Weiss. I really admire him.
mm.
He's, a great networker and always out there and always making great connections. And he has a great podcast. So, shout out to Yona Weiss.
100%. So bringing back to this, because your self-motivation, did you get any education from books? Any book have grabbed your attention about multifamily or business in general?
Tons of podcasts.
Only podcast, no
Yeah.
books.
I don't really
Oh,
have too much time to read.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
I
Okay,
could listen while I'm going for a walk, or if I'm taking my kids, if they let me put on a podcast, if they let me.
yeah.
But even lately it's been a little slower because I'm so busy.
So how you dealing with 8 kids and just like how you go from place to place with 8 kids? By the way, it's you
That's a
have to
good
have 2 cars
question.
at least, I think.
Well, we have a big car. We have a 12 passenger. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. So when we're going on family trips, we take the
Yeah.
big bus. I call it my bus. So we take the bus.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, we take the bus out.
Yeah.
How do we manage? It's a good question. I have a lot of help. I have help at home. Help with the kids are all in school. So, if I have generally from like 9 to 3, generally free. I mean, every other day someone else is home, and there's always a different schedule every day, but it's a juggle. It's and
It is.
yeah, but I work a lot. I work a lot around the kids. So in between. So it's a daily juggle. There's never 2 days that are alike. So it's some days I may have to cancel things because of the kids, or they always come first. They're my priority. So I try
Did
to
you at
make
least
everything
get
work.
nominated for the best mom of the year? At least.
Thank you. You could submit that to somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. We have to start
I'm
this.
just kidding.
Yeah.
You don't get recognition for being good. It's generally the people that are not good that get recognition,
Yeah.
or get newsworthy or whatever. But no, I never received a reward for working so hard and being a mom.
No, and not only a
Yeah.
mom, it's 8,
Yeah.
especially like I have 2 kids
Yeah.
and I'm struggling with them. I have 10 and 3, but
Yeah.
it's a really tough job. But with 8, I cannot imagine my life, to be honest, especially
Yeah.
that you really did progress on your career lately a lot.
Yeah.
And I think your husband was not part of your business, but he started to be with you, or it was from the beginning partnership between you and your husband?
So my husband was always involved in real estate to a certain extent when I wasn't.
Okay.
He also has some businesses. So only recently we kind of started. Since I got involved, I got involved with him somewhat in the business. Yeah, but that was just since I got involved. That's when we sort of started collaborating more on real estate.
Yeah. One question about the fund and syndication. What was the upside for you to use raising a fund versus a syndication deal?
So I've done both. I've
Yeah.
syndicated a deal, and what was the reason I've done the fund?
Yeah,
Is your
what
question?
was the upside for you to say, okay, it's better for me business-wise to work on a fund versus a syndication? Because you
It's
said
kind of,
recently you started to have your own fund. It was a goal for you. So
yeah.
why?
Well, my fund is still a deal. It's on a deal by deal basis. So
Okay.
I'm not just raising money and allocating it. I'm raising it on a per deal basis. I like when things are transparent. I like when the investors see the opportunity. And I'm also still too new to do a blind pool fund. So I raise on a per deal basis.
Okay. My last question will be how the people can follow your success.
I'm on Instagram at Esther Lowenbein, Facebook, LinkedIn, Esther Reizes-Lowenbein. Welcome to follow me and see my crazy life.
It is.
It's very crazy. Thank
But
God.
successful too.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
Any fun recently? Any trips?
We took the kids to Orlando midwinter.
Okay, good.
And then I've taken a lot of business trips without the kids. So but I always go for work. So I try not to go for long. I try to go just for the purpose of the trip and then come straight back home because I can't leave my kids for too long.
100%.
Yeah. So
again, thanks a lot for coming to the show today, and we're really happy to bring you again to the show to tell us more about your success stories.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.